Okay, here goes the recording. It claims it's recording now, so hopefully we're going. Let me get the chat box open. Okay, everyone. We are starting week 2. And remember what I said last class? That if anyone was to say to me, oh, how did I do on the assignments, blah, 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 I'm going to tell you I didn't look at them yet. I don't look at them until they're closed, and I especially don't look at them until after this session because I didn't want the session to turn into a review about the assignments. Now, speaking of the class, we are in the process of updating my class. We're trying to get the thing back on track where you can send, everyone can see your stuff. It's not set up right now. We're working on it. I'm hoping to have it all fixed tomorrow. So if possible, it should be all ready and fixed. That way, at least weeks 3 and 4, you'll be able to, show your stuff to everybody like you did in other classes. So, and now that I recorded it, you have to hold me to it. I have to hold myself to it. Okay, what we're going to do today, this is I personally love this stuff, but some people are like, what are you, nuts? I don't know if any of you out there have ever written tests. I used to write tests all the time. I thought I was a terrific test writer. After I learned all this stuff, I was like, wow, was I a horrible person? I wrote horrible tests. Not only that, but I was mean. I don't know about you, but I used to love the trick question. And after I went through all my the PhD stuff about this, I was like, wow, I was a really bad guy. They must have hated me. See, that's when you're supposed to go, no, they must have loved you. You're wonderful. That way you get an A. Somebody's helping me
You
out.
are wonderful.
Thank you. Oh, you get an A. There. See how easy that worked? Anyway, have you ever written a test, by the way? I don't know what
Oh yeah, I write tests all the time.
okay, good. So you know about test writing. Well, what we're going to do today is this part of the course is not just how to write tests, but it's also how to gamify them because a lot of people, they get panicky when they see a test. They could be the smartest people in the world, but they see a test, they freeze. So the whole idea of gamifying it is to just make it a little goofier, a little more movement so that they don't realize they're taking a test. They think they're playing a game. So let's talk
I
first.
can't hear what they're saying though.
Oh, wow. A lot of people just popped in. Hold on. We got, okay, everybody looks like they're solid green. Can you guys hear us out there? Okay, Kelly says yes. Mr. Rojas, can you hear us? Yep, okay. I'm going to mute everybody because I'm getting that weird feedback that I mentioned. So if anyone wants to say anything, just chat it in the chat box. I can unmute you. I just started to get the weird feedback on my end. Okay, well, everyone, thanks for coming. I hope you got a lot out of this class. I think we did a great job tonight. Okay, I will talk to everyone next week. I just want to see if anyone writes something in the chat box. I'm just, oh, you're right. You're already saying goodbye. Thank you. Okay. What? I figured you were kidding. Okay. What I was just saying real quick is that my course is being redone this month. So there was a glitch and you're not able to post to see each other's stuff. We're fixing that. Hopefully by tomorrow it should be fixed. So I'll keep you all posted. What we're doing today is we're doing assessments and gamifying the assessments. So if you've written tests before, I learned, as I was telling before, I wrote horrible, horrible tests. I was an evil, evil person, and I didn't realize it. And now I do. I know I'm a horrible person. Once again, this is your point where you're supposed to say, no, you're wonderful. Come on, don't you want A's? I fall for bribery. Come on. You guys are falling down on the job. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to talk. Thank you. Oh, you just got an A. You got an A plus. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the assessment questions first. Now, there's multiple types of questions. We're going to do 4. It's the true, false. It's the fill in the blank. It's the multiple choice. And it's the matching. We're not doing essays. Even though essays are the best, they're so hard to grade. So let's talk about true, false first, because they're probably, you would think, the easiest, and they kind of are. It's a 50-50 shot. But what happens is a lot of times with true false is, and this happens with a lot of questions actually, is that as you're writing them, you read them and you know the answer. So you're like, oh, the question makes sense. But someone else reads it, they get the wrong answer, and then they argue it with you. And a lot of times, sorry to say, they're right. What you got to do with a true false, oh, the first thing, I'm sorry, you really have to avoid with a true false is the negative true false. don't write not. So not, don't use not. No to not. Don't use the. I used to do it all the time, and it just gets people confused. And that's adding to their cognitive overload. You don't know if they know it or not. You might have tricked them. So don't use the not in any questions. Actually, don't do it in multiple choice. Don't do it in fill-ins. Don't use the not. So back to the true false. What you have to do is you have to write enough here so that you're not writing a book, but it still has to be enough to get the correct answer. So this one, I left the answers in there. Grace Hopper, blah, blah, blah. She invented COBOL, the language COBOL. Anyway, actually, it's false. Is that it was supposedly Edison back in 1878 actually wrote the word bug. We don't know if he made it up, but he used it. So she's a dirty, dirty liar. Now this one here, originally I had written it like this. According to its designer, Toru Iwatani, the shape of Pac-Man was inspired by an 8-slice pizza pie with 2 slices removed. Someone came up and said, no, that's false. He didn't. That's not true. And if you notice, I took out the word consecutive. You could take 2 pieces of pizza out of each side, and it kind of looks like an hourglass. So you got to be correct with your writing. So people can make arguments. They play lawyer ball all the time. But something like that, they had a point. I had to give them credit for it. So true false, the key to a true false is not to write a book, but not to write too little so that it could be argued. And remember, don't use not. Okay, let's move on here. Multiple guess. Multiple choice. Here, I'll go down to these ones here. Okay, and once this is computer stuff. I used to teach computers a long time ago. The way you do a multiple choice, once again, you don't use not to not. And I don't know how many of you ever do this. I did this. Any of you ever done the all of the above as an answer? I've done it. It's so bad to do. Most of the time, all the above is the correct answer, so there was no thinking going on at all. And it's just a cop-out. You've only given them 3 choices and then an all of the above. So it's not considered good form to do that. Couple other things about multiple choice is that you might think this is very minor, but if you look at the length of this. You see how this one is shorter, then this one goes longer, then this one goes longer. This has actually been proven to be a very helpful thing to people because people like to organize stuff in their head. They look for patterns. Doing it this way, and look here, same thing here. This goes in numerical order too. You want to have it organized nicely to make it easier to read. So once again, it's a minor thing, but it's our goal is to test the person on what they know, not to try to trick them, not to try to confuse them. You want to make sure they understand the question and are answering it based on their knowledge, not that they happen to guess or anything like that. So multiple choice, once again, you don't do the negative, and you also don't do the all the above. You make it look nice. And also make sure I'm going to show you examples of this. Make sure you're asking all the same things. I'll talk about that a little later. Okay, so far, any questions about true, false, or multiple choice? Pretty straightforward, right? Supposed to cheer. Yeah, woo, yeah, we love this. Yeah, nobody's getting A's again. Are you guys still there? Is everyone asleep? I'm trying. I could talk monotone. Thank you. I should talk monotone. Really put everyone to sleep. That way I could stop early. Okay, now here's the one. Match it. Now I should have done on this side. I didn't do it right, but I should have. Okay, matching. Once again, look on the right side. Do you notice that they go from small to big? I should have done it on this side too. I don't remember why I moved that around. Anyway, what you have here, I got a woohoo, thank you. Take a look at the matching. Do you notice that there's 5 on one side and there's 7 on the other? I can't tell you how many times I did matching and I put the same number on either side. That's a big no-no. That's because if I have 5 and 5, let's say the person knows 3 of them cold, got them right, everything. The last 2, it's a 50-50 shot. They can just guess and get it right. That's not the goal of a matching. You want to make sure they understand it. You should always have at least 2 more on one side than the other. Okay, so that's the goal. You want 2 more. Now, if you have 1 more, fine. But you really want 2. That's like a minimum thing. And once again, to point out here, make sure you're asking your questions and your answers are all in the same kind of category. Once again, I'm going to point this out in a minute so you'll see really how it sticks out. Okay, now the last kind is fill in. These are probably the hardest to write. What are you saying yes for, Kelly? You love fill ins or you love matching? Or you just think I'm doing amazing? You'll get an A that way. Sorry, I have allergies tonight. Are you there, or did I lose everybody? You guys all there?
Right.
Oh, there we go. Remember, I was muting everybody. I got to keep you muted. Oh, actually, I'm not getting the feedback right now. Okay, I'm going to unmute.
Right here. Motherfuckers.
Okay. I hear you, Kelly. Oh, something going on there. Okay, I'm going to mute again. There we go. I muted again. We're getting there's a lot of loudness going on there. Hopefully all is well there, Kelly. Okay, now, like I was saying, fill in is probably the hardest one to write. There's some really hard and fast rules with these. And one of them is the blank goes at the end. It doesn't go in the middle. It doesn't go in the beginning, because if you put it in the beginning, I used to, when I was taking tests, in high school and all that, I would have to go blank, blah, 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 blah. And then I would have to remember the blank at the beginning as I'm reading it. And it was very tough to wrap your head around it. If you do it at the end, it's much easier. There's lower cognitive overload. It's easier for the person to understand. Remember, our goal is not to trick them. Our goal is to see what they know. So, number one, the blank goes at the end. Number two, you have to be specific without writing a book. You can't have, and I'm going to show you some examples, you can't have it where multiple words could go in there. For example, this one, of the 3 types of touch screens, what is the name of the type that allows 100% of light to pass through from the monitor to the user? There's only 3 types of touch screens, and this one is the acoustic type. There is no other type. There's, let me see if I remember, there's capacitive and resistive. Well, that's pretty sad that I still remember that. So you have those other types, but there are 3 types. So they can't put the word bubble in there because it's wrong. Now, name for a category of automatons that are made to resemble humans in both behavior and appearance is androids. But this question is not written very well because it says to resemble humans. If someone wanted to really be really wanted to play lawyer ball on this one, and they'd be perfectly right. There's actually another kind called a gynoid. A gynoid is an android that's meant to look like a woman. Androids are meant for both, but a female android is specifically known as a gynoid. I know, once again, you're going, what the hell is this guy talking about, gynoids? A gynoid is a woman, so someone could say, no, the answer is gynoid, and they would be right. So let's look at some examples. Actually, let me show you the gamification of it, and then we'll look at some examples. Let's close this. Actually, no, wait. I'm going to show you one first. Okay, so, and I'll show you how to gamify it in a second. I'm going to show you this one because this one points out a few. And yes, this person gave me permission to do it. I told her what I was going to do with it, and she was okay with it because she redid it. Okay. Now, if you look at this, at first look, I was like, wow, this looks pretty impressive. But there's very little gamification going on here. Let me just go from slide to slide real quick. You notice nothing's moving, nothing changes, a couple lights go on, that's about it. It's a quiz. This woman here doesn't move. Nothing happens. It looked good, but there's no gamification here. But let's look at her questions. Okay, let me find. Okay, here we go. I'll tell you right now, I know almost nothing about this art stuff. I was an English major, I was mathematics, I was science. I'm not an artsy-fartsy person. My wife is, I'm not. But look at these answers here. You notice she's got 6 answers, 4 questions. You would think, oh, okay, that's great. But look, artist who painted water lilies, French term for painting outside. Well, you know something? I know a little bit. I know these are names. Manet and Monet are names. There is no other term here. So you know what? French term for painting outside, right there. I got it. I don't even know what that stands for. I think it's something in plein air. But I didn't even have to know that. I just had to know a slight bit, and I got it. The year that it was painted, the year. Here's two that talk about year, so I know Manet and Monet are not correct. There's no way Manet and Monet go in there. So right there, out of two possible answers, I got three choices. That's a pretty good guess time. I have a good chance of guessing it. And here, artists who painted water lilies. There's only two artists. That's a 50-50 shot. I got a good shot at that. So this is an example of not keeping the same category or question type within a question. You want to keep it all the same so you don't run into this issue. See, I was right on a lot of these, just by pure guessing, really. See, same thing here. Once again, all broken up, and it does not help you. Okay, I'm going to close this one. Now let's look at a gamification of an assessment. I'll show you the one I worked on. Is this mine? Nope, wrong one. First of all, any questions so far about how to write the questions? I've unmuted, so if anyone...
Your muscle slack word or something? Yeah, give me where that means so. You smell like ass.
You eat it or you want to?
Kelly's still yelling. You okay, Kelly? I muted again. It got really loud. Is anybody... So type in the chat box. Is everybody okay? Is there any questions about how to write the questions? The key things to avoid are don't do a negative question. All of the aboves, don't do those. Now let's look at the gamification. Okay, where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Okay, this is one that I created during my PhD stuff. Now, here's what you're going to create. You're going to create a gamified assessment. There's certain characteristics of it. Now, by the way, that's okay, Kelly. My kids do the same thing. I get that all the time. I had my 6-year-old the other day come in here naked for some reason. No, he's just naked. I was like, where's your underwear at least? So I just want to point this out about the gamified assessment. Nothing's going to work. People look at this and go, oh, I got to program a button. I got to move that. No, nothing functions. This is specific. This is basically storyboarding. That's all this is you're making a storyboard. You make buttons on here to make it look like it's going to work. That's all it is. You're giving me a demonstration of what it would look like, but it does not function. Things you will need to have on this. You have to have some sort of movement bar here. Now, don't copy mine. Come up with your own. But I know you look at mine and go, oh my God, that's incredible, Andy. You do amazing work. You could say that. That's fine. I agree. If you do, I give you an A. It's just that simple. That's how people get A's in my class. You just butter me up, you get an A. I fall for it every time. I was about to sneeze. Thank you. Okay, so you need to have movement because if this is on a computer screen, the person has to be able to move from question to question. Look, it tells me I'm on question 1. Now, once again, look, I'm clicking on the button. Nothing happens. In fact, when I review this work, I am not reviewing it in the show. See how you have the show here? I'm going to review it in this normal view because I don't want anything to move. I don't want to hear your noises. Don't even concern yourself with movement. Don't even concern yourself with sound. Don't even worry about it. Now up here, these computers are my progress meter showing me how I'm doing. Am I getting them right? Am I getting them wrong? Here's my question. Okay, so which one of these is correct? It represents frequency modulation. And instead of just clicking the answer, the gamification, now you're going to look at this and go, it's not really gamified. No, it's not a real game. You're not making a full-fledged game. But what you're doing is, to answer the question, you would drag this hand and plug it in. Just the simple act of the person dragging something and moving it kind of brings down the threat of a test. It kind of looks kind of cute and kind of game-like. By the way, I drew that hand freehand. Isn't that great? I did such a good job. I'm so proud of myself. You're all like, no way. That's incredible. So here, this is what happens when you get it right. See? The hand plugged it in here. There's music playing. By the way, there's no sound in this. If I was to play it in the show, you wouldn't hear any sound. I'm just showing you there'd be music. And look, ready for more? Go to the next one. Look at my progress. I got one right. Okay, so let's move on here. Here, now this one I know, my matching, I should have had 5. Yes, I'm missing a finger, but cartoon people only have 4, not 5. That was good. Good eyes there. Let me tell you that. That was pretty good. You're the first person to ever mention that. And yeah, I know that. There's only 4 there. Now, I should have had a 5th one here. I know. This is really old. This is like, I really should update it. It's like 7 years old already. Okay, so this one is a matching. And the goal is you drag the icon over to the window. Once again, you could draw a line here. You could have them draw a line. That's kind of fun, drawing a line. You could have them move this box over there, whatever. And here's what happens when you draw it. See, look, you got it correct. The penguin has a little sun. The worm comes out of the apple, and Microsoft has some money. What a surprise. So that's matching. Now here's another one. This one has this one is a kind this matching also in a way. You would drag. You can see how old this is. This is the camera. This is back when you had to have this external camera because laptops didn't have cameras. This is about cyberbullying. Anybody familiar with these? The Numa Numa guy, the Star Wars kid, or the Dancing Cadet? You probably never heard of the Dancing Cadet. Have you heard of the Dancing Cadet? I'm amazed. Most people never heard of him. Star Wars kid, some people have. Numa Numa guy, a lot of people have. But oh, yeah, the Star Wars kid. Now here, if you notice, it shows there'd be movement buttons that you could play it. You'd be dragging the camera onto it, so there's motion. There's things happening. By the way, the Numa Numa guy, he lip synced to a song, and his friends put it on the internet, and he was going to sue them, but then all of a sudden he got really famous, so he was happy with that. The Star Wars kid, I think he was either 13 or 15 when this happened. He was up in Canada. He was just a kid. He's a 13-year-old filming himself pretending to be a Star Wars character. His friends got a hold of it. I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm sorry, not a Star Wars fan. I remember, just to remember, I'm old. My father, all of us went to see Star Wars in '77, and my father and my sister walked out. That's how bored they were. Yes, I'm old. I was born in '66, so I'm pretty much up there. I'm almost 50. I know you're saying, but Andy, you sound so young and vital. You sound like you're 18. I know, I get that all the time. Oh, it's hard. I actually look a little younger than I am. At least I think so. When you come to hopefully you come to graduation, you'll see me. But the Star Wars kid, his friends put it up on the internet, and I think he finally settled. He sued them in the school. He settled for like $250,000. That's pretty good. If anyone wants to do that, record me doing anything. I don't care. We'll split it. Now the Dancing Cadet, what it was is his roommate put a camera in their closet. And before this guy came in, his roommate said, "Watch my roommate. He does this weird dancing." I mean, give him a break. He's an Air Force guy. You know, he's got to blow off steam. And the president, who was the president at the time? I think it was Bush at the time, gave the guy a medal for bringing up morale. So that's just a little bit about these things. So here, look, see, one of them didn't have it. Now we'll go here. This is a multiple choice. Here you have, do you remember the tractor paper? I used to love tractor paper. I was so happy because you couldn't mess it up. In an old typewriter, you could always get it off, kilter. It'd be angled. Here, you couldn't do it. I loved it. Here, you drag the correct punch card into the computer, and he makes a chomping noise. Okay, and then the computer starts moving. So there's an example of multiple choice. And these are just some extra slides here. Like, this is what happened at the computer if you got it wrong. Here's what a computer would look like, my progress meter if you got it wrong. This is not a full-blown example of what it would look like. Let me show you some full-blown examples. Now, I showed you one just before. That was the woman's that it was nice, but it didn't do anything. Here's one, which I thought was really inventive because look at her target audience if you can see it. Her target audience is 4 to 5-year-olds. 4 to 5-year-olds, for the most part, can't read. So she had to come up with a way to demonstrate yes and no. And here, this is how they pick it. They move the bicycle. They drag the bicycle. See? Yay, Mr. Eggman, he liked it. Now, if you notice, she's missing her progress meter. She's missing her movement arrows, which she gave another version, and she had it in there. But I wanted to show this one to show that, look, you have to have that other stuff in here. Okay, here's another example. It's kind of like multiple choice, kind of like true. It's true false actually. Now that I think about it, D equals dog, so it's true false. Okay, here's her matching. She drags the little roller skater over there. See, happy Eggman. See, once again dragging. So I thought this was very inventive. Now this is multiple choice. Oh no, Eggman's sad. This is fill in the blank, which was good. Now, I kind of busted her chops on this one. I said, well, the S could work here because it's mountains. But then, I was being naughty. So I didn't. Okay, see, yay, Eggman's happy. Now, what you're going to need also is remediation. Immediately, when they get it right or wrong, you need to tell them that. That's part of learning. Okay, let's look at another one. Let's do the pirate quiz. Okay, here's the pirate quiz. Arrgh. Talk like a pirate day. Okay. Here we go. Okay, here's her pirate. Look, she's got her movement arrows. This bag of money shows your progress. It's a true false. You click on me pirate coins. I just like talking like a pirate. Okay, this is meant for, I think she said it was second graders. Okay, so you get it correct. Pete the talk. See, she's just putting in bubbles here telling me what's going to happen, which is fine. Okay, you got it wrong here. And Cappy will tell the user, how to fix that, things like that. Ready for a second question. Okay, also is multiple choice, things like that. Oh, now she had an easy one here. Fill in the blank for her is simple. It's either right or wrong. It's numbers. Okay, so that's the pirate one. Show you another one. Here we go. Okay, this is Frachtberg. I thought this was a great one. Okay, dealing with fractions. Here we go. So you got your movement arrows down there. Here's your progress meter on the side. Okay, so you got to give a little more than just saying, oh, you got it wrong. See, I told you. You got to have a little bit more than that. You got to explain why they got it wrong. Okay, here you're dragging somebody. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. You're dragging somebody. That's motion. Okay. Here's drag the burger to the student with the equivalent fraction. This is matching, and you're dragging the burger, and she said it was going to make chewing sounds. Now I want a burger. Hungry, I want a burger. Not supposed to eat burgers. Okay, so here's more. Here's a fill in the blank. A percent is a number out of. Now, this one I dinged her on, and by ding, I just said, look, you could have a problem, because someone could, it's a number out of 100, but I said, oh, it could be a number out of a whole. W-H-O-L-E, whole. And she's like, I guess you could kind of do that, so you got to be specific here. Okay, so there's some more examples. Now, I don't want to save it. I didn't mean to make that change. Let me just bring up the extra thing. Okay, so some tips. Okay, here's a fill in the blank. This is, by the way, this is how I know who watched or came to the session versus who didn't. Because Abe Lincoln was. Okay, Abe Lincoln was what? Go ahead, you tell me. Abe Lincoln was what? This is called the Abe Lincoln question. And that's how it's known in the lingo. It's Abe Lincoln question. Abe Lincoln was, go ahead, just type it in the chat box what you think Abe Lincoln was. And if you didn't come to this session and you didn't watch the video, what you would get as feedback on one of your questions, because you would do this, I'm not saying you, the person would do this, I would write, you have an Abe Lincoln question. And they would immediately write back going, what's an Abe Lincoln? That's how I know you didn't watch it. Right, President of the U.S. Abe Lincoln was tall. Abe Lincoln was shot. Abe Lincoln was a man. Abe Lincoln was mucho sexy. He was. That beard, oof, too much. This is an Abe Lincoln question. An Abe Lincoln question means almost anything that go in there. Yeah, you could put anything in there, pretty much. Now, look at this next one. By the way, try to stay away from multiple blanks. And also, look, this blank's in the middle. That's not good. But I'm using this to demonstrate I hate when it does that. To demonstrate a point. Abe Lincoln wrote the blank blank during a time in America when history was tumultuous. Okay, what did Abe Lincoln write during that time? Let's see who knows their stuff. Now remember, this is not a good example because the blanks are in the middle. And it's also a double blank. The Emancipation Proclamation, excellent. You do know he also wrote the Gettysburg Address, which was written during a time when history was tumultuous. And it's 2 words, Gettysburg Address. So you see that one, once again, is a little bit hazy. Now this one, once again, it's not good because, yeah, exactly. Now this one, there really is only one answer because the Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves in the rebelling states. The Gettysburg Address didn't do that. So, I mean, you could try to say, oh, he wrote the awesome paper, which freed the. Well, that's not what it was called. Okay, now you're really splitting hairs. So, fill-ins, you got to be specific, and remember, the blank goes at the end. Can't stress that enough. Okay, now here's another one. Remember, don't use not use not. Now, pretend you knew nothing about Abe Lincoln. Which one of these is, you know for a fact, going to be correct? You don't know the first thing about him, but there's something in here that tells you it's correct. I'll give you a hint. This one's correct. He was actually an amateur wrestler. So what tells you that attorney is going to be correct? I should play like the theme from Jeopardy here. It's that, the format, that, and, A-N. That's the only one that goes with that, an attorney. And pro wrestler is not correct. So watch when you do that. Don't give away the answer with grammar. And we went over this. Remember, you want to go from small to large. And this one, once again, I didn't do this side very good. Is LSAT scores. I don't know. Back then, I think you had to score a 5 to get in. Oh, God, when did they start the LSATs? I remember I took the LSATs. I used to teach LSATs. And I did really good on them. I should have been an attorney. And then I was like, well, I hate lawyers. No, I'm just kidding. I have a lot of friends who are lawyers. I don't hate lawyers. I just think there's too many of them. Yeah, way too many of them. Some of the best lawyer jokes I heard actually were told to me by lawyers. So here, once again, all the same type of data. Once again, these are presidents' names. Pierce, William Henry Harrison. He died in 30 days. Jefferson, Pierce, Polk, the best president we ever had, by far. He made 4 promises, kept them all, then left. Actually, William Henry Harrison is probably the best president. He died in 30 days. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to say which president I like because I'm not revealing my political bend here. But kind of like the guy who's in there right now. Oh, did I say that or think that? Oh, my. Yes, I'm an Obama supporter. So if you're a Republican, that's your choice. That's up to you. I'm an Obama supporter. Okay, so. And now I'm a Hillary supporter. Although I liked who's the other woman that from New Hampshire, very progressive. I wanted her to run. She's not running. Warren, Elizabeth Warren. I think she'd be terrific. Okay, enough political stuff. Anyway, so let me close that. Education first. Okay, so I think we went over everything. Excellent. Now let me open up the assignment. So, here we go. Okay, give me a sec. Now remember, like I said, I'm really sorry that it got messed up. Unfortunately, you guys hit it at the wrong time with we're updating everything. So we're going to hopefully get that fixed up for you so that you can share each other's stuff and look at it. So if you can just be patient, one day we'll get that fixed. Good. No worries. Excellent. Okay, you get an A. You're done. Okay, and I'm putting in the extensions for things. So if you need an extension, don't worry, you got it. Okay. Okay, good. If you can, don't submit anything for these next 2 weeks because if it opens by accident, don't submit anything yet. We're trying to fix it. If you submit something, you're going to lose it. So don't submit anything. It might open up by accident. Okay, so beware. Okay, so here. This is the assignment. Let me go to edit. I think they put the new one in. God, I hope they did. Okay, let me open up the PDF. Okay, here we go. Here's what you're going to create. You're going to create, once again, a gamified assessment that is 24 slides total. Technically, it's 25. You want to have a title slide. What you're going to do is you're going to have 2 true-false questions, 2 multiple choice, 2 matching, and 2 fill in the blank. Oh, let me give you a word of warning here with fill in the blank. if you provide the answers underneath the fill in the blank, it's not a fill in the blank anymore. It's a multiple choice. I've had people do that. They put a blank in there, but then they put the answers underneath. And I'm like, no, that's a multiple choice now. Each question, so one true false question will be on one slide. Then you're going to have a slide that shows what happens when the person gets it correct, and then what happens if the person gets it incorrect. So for each one, there's 3 slides. There's the question, the correct, and the incorrect. So if you have 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, and 3 here, that's 12. 24 is because you have 2 of each. So you'll have 24 questions. Remember, put them in the proper format. Make sure you don't do the not. Make sure you don't do the all of the aboves, things like that. It's not functional. Okay, this is not a functional thing. Remember that. It does not have to function. I don't expect to hit a button and have something happen. Now, some people say to me, they're like, oh, well, you know, my first game really doesn't lend itself to an assessment. Can I do something else? Yes, you're more than welcome to do something else, but just kind of keep it within the same vein. So, like, let's say your first game dealt with the planets, and you wanted to do something else with your assessment, so you do it about aliens. Okay, they're related. I mean, it's not planets, but it's close. For example, if you did the planets your first week, don't do Jane Eyre the second week. I don't think Jane Eyre is related to the planets at all. So keep it kind of in the same vein. You can do something completely different than you've done, but it's got to kind of be tangentially connected. Okay. Let's go to the rubric. Here's the rubric. Okay, once again, this should all be hopefully fixed up by the time we're ready to do this. If it's not, don't worry. I've been approved that I can give more time and things like that, so we'll be fine. Okay, you want to include a well-designed title slide. Make it look nice. Don't just have a blank PowerPoint with just a few words on it. Make it look good. The assessment is related to the secret selling game. Now, like I said, I know that there are some secret selling games that don't relate nicely with an assessment. That's fine. If you want to do something that's not quite directly related, it's okay. As long as it's tangentially related, you are fine. Questions are written in proper format according to the reading and according to what we talked about. It should be logical. It should flow. It should make sense. It should look good, I should say. Remember, 2 types of each question. And also, you need to have that gamification in it. It can't just be like that one that I showed you where the caricature of the woman was standing next to each question. There was nothing happening. That was just basically a very pretty test. You want to have motion. You want to have things happening, things like that. Okay? So is everybody good there? We're supposed to cheer. So go, yeah, woo! We're good, yeah! What do you mean we still have 2 assessments? Here, I'm going to put the audio back on. There we go. What do you mean, Kelly?
No, what I'm saying is that I appreciate what you're saying. What I'm saying is that we have to really be cautious at what we are assessing with our kids, with our students.
Oh, yeah. You have to watch. You have to make sure you're asking the right questions. Actually, thanks for mentioning it. That brings up a really good point. Stay away from the trick question, but also stay away from minutia. I'm glad you said that. A lot of people, I've seen people ask questions like the best one I've seen. This happened about a year ago. Their whole assessment was based on like, what page did you find this on? I'm like, what else?
Oh, that's disgusting, sir. I apologize. That's disgusting.
Well, it was.
You don't touch kids like that. It's really disgusting.
Yeah, I'm like, why do you care what page is on? That doesn't mean anything.
It means nothing. What really happens is that let's get it. Let's go ahead and take it to writing. Let's grab the text and let's take it to writing. Yeah. Can you produce a writing piece that shows us that you mastered this skill?
Yes. Yeah, you have to.
So for me, I get really disgusted when people do a true or false test because like that says nothing.
Well, it has a place. True false has a place.
It sure does. But that's the lower level of the web stuff of knowledge. So for me, I'm like, okay, I cannot have my kids assessed like that. That's like that's a recall.
Right. You're absolutely right. That's the lowest level on Bloom's.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be rude. I'm
I
sorry. I'm real passionate about this kind of stuff. Like, this is my thing. I
yeah.
apologize.
No, you're not being rude. Personally, I think the best question are essay questions because you really see what they know. But
Amen.
they're just so
Amen.
hard to grade though.
I want to read your writing, and then I can
Yeah.
honestly understand what's really going on. Your
Yeah.
thought process and how you got there, and your text evidence, and I
Yeah.
got it. You know.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the way these tests are in schools and all that, it's almost a necessary evil that you have to write multiple choice and fill-ins and things like that.
That's what makes me so angry.
Yeah, that's okay. You're allowed to be angry, but no,
That's
that's a
hard for
good
me.
point.
That's hard for me being an educator, and I'm watching my kids struggle through the FSA. And
Oh
just
yeah,
I live in Florida. I apologize. Everybody I live in Florida, just so you know. So to watch that happen, and if we just change our standards, Common Core, all of a sudden it's FSA, we have a whole different, whatever. That's really rough to watch
where
my two kids struggle
where in Florida are you?
through that. I live in Middleburg, which is Jacksonville area.
Oh, okay, you're up north. Okay, yeah, I'm in Orlando, so. Oh yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I remember.
I came from Dade County. I came from
Okay,
Dade County.
I
So we were on top of it.
yeah
I come here, I'm like, this is so slow up here compared to what I'm used to.
I remember I taught for Princeton Review years
Okay.
ago. And Princeton Review does not teach you anything except how to beat the test. You don't learn anything. I was like, wow, that's really, and it's sad because people aren't learning anything. They're just learning how to beat tests.
And I don't believe in that. I won't
I
teach
don't
my
either.
kids how to read, and that's fine.
No, I think the test should, honestly, if it was up to me, they'd all be pretty much essay tests because I think that really
Exactly.
tests it. But unfortunately, I don't think that's ever going to happen in our lifetimes.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
They're laughing. Sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I apologize. I'm real passionate about my stuff. I don't appreciate,
I'm
this
with you on
assessment
this
crap
one.
it was too bad for me. I just can't. Too much.
I'm with you on this one. But so, any questions about what we've gone over so far? Is everybody good? Does everybody think they're ready? Supposed to cheer. Yeah, woo.
Everybody's like, yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording so then you can say all your naughty stuff. Here we go.